Hello, hello, hello out there, everybody in the interwebs and internet and the dark web and all those other places. We're coming at you straight from New York City at the beautiful Thai Chef restaurant on 44th Street.
We think it's owned by Thai gangsters because we walked in and there was no one here. And
I
then
didn't want to say that too loud, but yes, I do believe
didn't
that as well.
didn't seem like they get too many customers. It's kind of why we're here and ordered some
Yes.
very
Some smoothies.
masculine
Yes.
smoothies.
Very masculine.
Strawberry and
smoothies
banana.
indeed. Very masculine.
It's a couple of fruits
indeed.
here.
And we came in and we asked for a menu, and they looked at us like, "What the fuck are you doing in here?" But you know, we're here, and we're gonna do this. This is the first ever NYC Life podcast with my good friend, New York City comedian, producer, realtor extraordinaire, Mr. Alex Hjalmarsson. Give it up.
I'll clap for myself.
Golf clap. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And this man's been making splashes over the city, you know, and he just started a new mic, Comedy Quest, right?
Comedy Quest open mic, 6 p.m. every Thursday at the Beauty Bar, 14th Street.
Yep. Beauty Bar, 14th Street, Manhattan. And that's every Thursday at 6 p.m., you said?
That's right.
That's
Yep.
right. Every Thursday at 6 p.m.
It's been standing room only past couple mics.
Standing room only.
Getting popular.
Ass to dick. That's what that means. Ass to dick. That's how crowded that room is. Elbowed assholes.
Well,
And he's doing a great job, and I'm really proud of him, and I'm really glad he's doing what he's doing, because you can't have enough of these kind of events. You know, you can't have enough of them. Me and Alex, we met at one of my open mics, Comedy College NYC. I started it in 2016, and he's been a loyal
patron.
loyal patron of the event. Like, anytime I send out an email, he's one of the first to get back to me. He's always there. He's always grinding. He's always talking about it. And he's been a huge help to MarcusRios.com, Comedy College NYC, and just everything that we do. And, you know, we can't thank him enough.
Well, a quick note is that when I first saw that mic, it was kind of unique because it was the only 10-minute mic that I saw out there, and it was free, which was even crazier. And obviously, it attracted a lot of comics. You had the recordings, you had your audio stuff on point. It was really professionally run. So yeah, it was definitely one of the better, if not one of the best mics in New York.
Thank you so much, man.
So yeah.
And Comedy College is taking a little hiatus, but it will be coming back. I believe it will be coming back in both an open mic and a showcase format. We're still looking for a proper venue, and you know, but that's always the name of the game in production. Is looking for venues and dealing with respectable owners, if not GMs. That's the fucking hardest thing to fucking do in this city. Not deal with scumbags that run shit, you know. But you know, we both lucked out, and we both found some good venues. Mr. Alex is at the Beauty Bar. I'm over at the Producers Club on 44th and 9th Avenue. And, you know, we're just getting pretty comfortable. And, you know, I feel very confident in the Producers Club, even though I didn't the first show. The first show was kind of a shit show. You know, Alex was there.
I rocked the mic.
He rocked the mic.
I had those wannabe drama students laughing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I was talking about the night, the one we did at night with the fucking lady. With the fucking
that
lady.
one. Okay,
that
okay.
one. Yeah.
That was a lot of good comics, though, actually. It was pretty high level.
We had some
comics
very
on
high
there.
level comedians at the initiation of Comedy College NYC over at the Producers Club. But, you know, once again, you know, greedy producer fucks want to dig their fucking hands in your shit, not even their own shit. They want you to bring some shit, and then they want to dig their hands all up in your shit, which, you know, made me upset. But, you know, you got to choose your battles. And I took it on the chin, and me and the owner talked the next week, and we came to a wonderful agreement, which I'm very happy with still to this day. But now the point at hand, we're here to talk to Alex, and we want to ask him some questions, because being a comedian is not easy, as fun as we make it look, being a comedian sucks dick sometimes, but we love it. We fucking love telling jokes, making people happy, and talking our shit. That's why we do it. It's very therapeutic, and everybody needs it. Not just us, but you guys need it too. And our first question for Mr. Alex Hjalmarsson is, what made you want to be a comedian?
Well, I guess it goes back to when I was a kid. When I was a little kid, my sister was a dancer, and she would put on shows, dance shows, and she would record them on VHS tapes actually, and so it was quite the production. So she would have different costume changes and stuff, and so my role, which was what I wanted, was to be the host and be sort of the comic relief, and so. Since I was like 7 years old, I've been writing jokes in my little joke books. And so I would dress up in a suit, white suit, red bow tie. And I'd be like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got a great show for you tonight. I'm going to tell you some jokes.
Format, right?
Yeah. And, I was
format.
doing the jokes and stuff. And then, she would do her little dance. And then I would get back on while she's changing for the next bit, whatever. And I got to the point where the audience actually wanted to hear more jokes of mine.
Okay.
And then, we even have this old video of the audience calling for some more of me, and then she starts crying, getting all jealous that her little brother's getting all the attention,
I was going to ask how that worked out.
So it was all right. That was probably the last show we did, but we still got that on tape, so I'm definitely not making this up.
That's awesome, man.
But yeah, I always loved comedy. I was a kid that would buy comedy CDs and listen to the greats, and I didn't really ever think that I could do it. I saw these comedians like Richard Pryor and Judice Clay, Chris Rock, all these comedians as sort of like supermen on stage, and it was like sort of an unattainable thing. I just never really considered that I could also do it.
Who was the first comedy CD or tape that you got?
The first one
that you remember, that you can remember,
It's got to be an old Richard Pryor record.
Okay, Richard Pryor record. Okay,
yeah.
Like Live on Sunset, something like that.
Dude, I can't even remember which one it was, but I think it was that one actually.
Richard
I think it was
Pryor.
Live on Sunset. But yeah, it was him, and then anything that I could see on TV, I would eat up. I was really always into audiovisual stuff with tapes, and I would VHS tape stuff that was comedy, and I almost didn't realize how into it I was until later on, that this was like not that normal for a little kid to be so into it. But yeah, that's sort of like my first taste of it.
That's awesome, man. I can't believe you did a show with your sister and stole the show. So your sister literally kicked you off the show that you both started together. But it's tough working with family.
I upstaged her, man.
That should tell you right there how tough it is working with family. Children can't even work together as family at their own show, their own personal show. They can't even work together. But man, that's crazy, man. Richard Pryor is definitely the catalyst. Richard Pryor definitely made a lot of people believe in themselves that they could do this too.
That voice, man, and Brewster's Millions. I watched all his.
Brewster's Millions. That was great. That was an excellent movie. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I watched all his movies, man. It's just.
Yeah, See No Evil, Hear No Evil. That was one of my personal favorites. Any movie he did with was it Gene? What was it? The Willy Wonka dude. What's his name?
Gene
something.
Gene Wilder?
Yeah, Gene Wilder. Any movie he did with Gene Wilder was money, and they knew that. That's why they made like fucking half a dozen of them. That's crazy, man.
But yeah, it's crazy because later on, I was always writing bits and jokes and thoughts down throughout the years, and I was at this comedy show at the Gaff, and it was like this big party going on upstairs, and I found out there was comedy downstairs, so I went downstairs, of course, being an antisocial comedy fanboy, and I went downstairs, abandoned my friends to see the comedy show, and after the show, I was just shooting the shit with some of the comedians, and and they were like, "Oh, it was a good crowd tonight," and I was like, yeah, this crowd was cool." And they started talking to me about like bits and stuff, and I was talking, and then finally I said, I'm not a comedian, because I was making them laugh and stuff, and they're like, "What? You're not a comedian?" I said, No, and they're like, "Oh, you're pretty funny. You move pretty well too." I'm like, "Okay,
Move well.
yeah," which is
Very
weird,
graceful.
which is weird at the time, right?
Your jokes are on point, and you're very graceful.
I was just riffing, but they're like, "Do you ever consider doing comedy?" One of the comics really pushed me to do it, and actually booked me on a show, and like the next week, and I wasn't ready, and I actually canceled my first show. I said, "Look, I'm not ready," and I started going to overdrive with my bits and figuring things out, and so I canceled the show, and then
Very
finally,
common for fresh comedians. Yeah, very common.
and then I had to go to Ireland. I came back. I had all my bits ready, and I came back. The day of my first show, I was hungover, and I literally threw half the set out, and I started just riffing and making up stupid jokes about Ireland and different things, and actually had the crowd rolling, and it's great because I had that recorded. But yeah, it's funny like seeing myself back then, because I wasn't as polished as I am now, obviously, and it was fun, and I really got a taste for it at that point, and the rest is history.
You're hooked, right? After that,
Yeah,
you're
man.
fucking hooked, man.
Yep.
You do it like this is the kind of thing you do it one time, and you'll know whether it's for you or not.
Seriously.
You will fucking know off the rip if this is what you're gonna do, or if this is, or you never ever want to fucking do this again in your entire life.
There's a lot of comics out there that I've seen at open mics, and they make the big mistake saying, "Oh, this is my first time doing comedy." Like anyone gives a damn. No one cares,
No one
but
gives a fuck.
they might give you a little pity clap, and they do their thing, and you never see them again.
In
you
a
know?
nice room, you'll get the,
You never see 'em again.
community, like, inspirational, like,
Yeah,
golf
but-
clap.
But that
that's
sets
not-
you up for, okay, well, this guy's not going to be that good,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
this guy's an unexperienced.
You're kinda
I say
downplaying
just do your
yourself.
thing.
When people do that, they're kind of downplaying themselves to let you know, hey, I might suck, and that's a bummer for the crowd and everything. But depending on what kind of crowd you got, they're gonna take it whatever way.
Yeah.
If you got a bunch of scumbags in the crowd, they're gonna start talking shit. They're gonna start flipping shit. Like, give me the mic. You never know.
I generally think that it's not a good thing, because in comedy, what do you got? You got your setup, you got your punchline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the whole point is to get to the funny part, right? You want to get to that funny part.
Yeah, the funny.
Telling people this is your first time, that's not a setup, punchline, nothing. That has nothing to do with comedy. It's just empty banter that is useless.
Yeah. No,
It's my own little personal.
No, absolutely.
thought.
It's like I said, it's very downplaying small talk.
Yeah.
Very downplaying, and it's not the best. Not the best. If you've never done comedy before, just say it at the end. Hey, thanks for everybody. Never done this shit before. Thanks. Fuck it. There's no one's gonna
If
care
that.
anyway.
Yeah.
No one's gonna fucking care anyway. Like, when you go up there on stage and you're trying to fucking work on jokes, trying to make people laugh, nobody gives a fuck about your history unless it's a joke. Like, if your history or your story is a joke, then people are interested.
I see too many comics taking too long for the setup
Just
too.
dialogue, right?
They just
Because they're not comfortable yet.
yeah.
They're not comfortable,
They're
or
not.
their routine's not tight, or a combination of both.
Or they start talking like they're talking to their friends in the real world, and that's the real world is not. The stage is not the real world, in my opinion.
No. Some people get away with that because of the experience, or because of their banter might actually be funny. That's the only way
Right.
you're really gonna get away with
Yeah.
that.
If it's funny.
Yeah, your shit has to be funny, because that's what comedy is about. It's about being funny. Some people say, "Oh, I take it too far. Oh, is that too far?" Like, honestly, I don't give a fuck how far you take something. You could take something to outer fucking space. I don't give a fuck how horrible something you say is, as long as I laugh. Because if you're just spitting horrible shit that nobody's laughing at, you're just saying fucking horrible things. But, like, I don't give a fuck if you went too far, as long as it's funny. Take it as far as you need to go to make it funny.
Yeah.
I I don't get offended at shit. As long as it's funny.
Yeah.
If there's no laugh, then it's just offensive.
Right.
You know?
Right.
That's what a lot of people are
If
missing.
you're going to be a shock comic, you got to have purpose. You can't just try to shock people for the hell of it. It's
You can't
just
be
going to
spewing
fall flat.
fucking horrible
generally.
things out your mouth. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can't just spew horrible things out your mouth. Shit has to be coming with some funnies.
I've literally heard comics do that, and they say, well, why aren't you laughing, bitches? And just like, oh, now you're just digging a hole for yourself, you know? Now you're alienating the audience
Now you're insulting
to the fullest, you know?
because they don't get your ridiculous ranting. Because that's what it turns into. When nothing's funny, it turns into a rant, and your stage is now a fucking soapbox, you know, for you to spew your toxic ideals out. And doing a lot of open mics, I've heard a lot of people do that. Just come in, grab the microphone, and just spew toxic garbage out of their mouth because they think that's what comedians do.
Yeah.
And,
They know nothing
their
about
time
structure.
gets cut real fucking short.
Yeah.
Because, as a producer, you got to see that and you got to recognize that. And I try to tell them, hey, next time bring some funnies, or just start a fucking YouTube channel. Say whatever the fuck you want, But you were talking about inspirations. Comic inspiration, you said Richard Pryor. That was one of your biggest
That's one of them,
inspirations.
yeah.
What else? I want to
I
know.
would say also, I mean, this guy is, Jerry Seinfeld is super, obviously well known.
Super clean cut.
Clean cut, all that. But there's a lot to learn from him, actually. The way he condenses down jokes into very simple forms.
He's a master joke writer for sure.
Yeah, the
Absolutely.
way he makes it seem like it's just a off-the-cuff sort of observation, and it is just very concise, and you can learn a lot from him. His particular brand of humor and jokes are not my all-time favorite types, and he's very funny, but you can learn a lot from him, actually. And also he said something kind of interesting one time in his documentary, which was that he realized that the comedy world is almost like a different world. And he, early on, as a young man living in New York, he realized that he didn't want to live in the real world. He wanted to live in the comedy world. And it really is a different world. And when you're not doing comedy, you got to sort of switch it off. And early on, that was like kind of a problem for me. I was like getting impatient with listening to someone's drawn out story, just regular talk. And I realized, most people are, I like to call them non-coms. Non-coms are,
non-coms?
Not thinking the way we do. And you got to have a little bit of patience with.
I like that, non-com.
Yeah, I just made that up, right?
I like
It's
that.
good.
No, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, you got to have patience with people, and you got to let people talk. And not everyone is as, comically gifted as others.
That's right.
So
Non-coms are, people that like to tell their stories and usually just wait to talk,
And they tell the same story,
Yeah, non-coms are usually telling the same stories, absolutely, because that's their best fucking story they got, Or whatever you're doing, relates to whatever lame fucking story they're about to tell you. And, it's whatever. It's whatever, man.
Yeah, I make a lot of jokes with people, and they're just like looking at me like, dude, are you crazy? What is your deal?
You gotta be a little crazy to do this shit. You gotta be a little crazy to just fucking throw out your inhibitions, go up there and start. And first of all, you gotta be crazy to just write a joke. First of all, you have to be out of your fucking head to practice the art of writing a joke. Because it's fucking maddening. Writing a joke is maddening. Because you're saying the same shit, or you're working on it, or you're molding it. You're constantly playing with this clay form of wordplay that should be leading to a ha-ha or a funny or a giggle or some other fucking bullshit. You know?
Yeah.
It's disheartening, man, because, you put all that time, all that effort in this joke that you think's going to slay, and it fucking gets a huh.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, where'd that go wrong?
Right.
But sometimes it's not even the joke or the writing. Sometimes it's in your delivery. Sometimes it's in your persona. Sometimes it's in your energy.
It could be
There's
it could
so
be
much-
also what you don't say, like a pause.
Exactly.
let it build, let that laughter build, let them think about it a little bit. Or it
There's-
could just be one word you change, or it could be like you talk about your brother-in-law and suddenly it's like instead of your brother-in-law it's your crazy uncle, and suddenly people think that's funnier because your crazy uncle, that it's
Yeah.
the same exact story, but
Exactly.
it's just it's that's why open mics are so important to me, to test out your material. You got to test it out in the real world. I mean, you can write and write and write, and you can think it's fire, think it's funny, and then you try it out and it doesn't land, and you got to just rework it, or eventually maybe you got to get rid of it. You got to say, you know what, this is it's not as funny as I first thought it was.
Yeah, I gotta
Guess
tell you,
in the-
man. I haven't wrote a joke since I started producing shows. I have not fucking wrote a joke
Damn,
since I started producing
you're
shows.
you're a pure riffer.
Pure riffer. For years I was writing jokes for nobody because they weren't good enough for me. So I didn't feel like they were good enough for anybody else. And I swear to God, I wrote jokes for nobody for years until I was just like, I just don't give a fuck. You got to do it. You just got to go out there and you got to do it. And you'll get over it. You'll get over it. If you have some kind of, natural talent, you'll get over it. Not everyone has. I'm funny in discussions. I'm funny in conversation. So, I can go up there and I can bullshit for a little bit. Not everybody's funny in conversation.
No,
Not everyone. Can do
definitely
that.
not.
Not everyone can do that.
No. But in terms of sort of more contemporary, I mean, Jerry's still doing comedy, but real like newer people, I guess Judah Friedlander, that guy, I actually got to hang out with him
Yeah.
in Brooklyn, yeah, and that
Oh,
dude's
shit.
really, really, really funny, and the guy is very quick-witted, and he just rips on the crowd, and they love it. Like, he ripped on me at one point, too, and I was just loving it, like getting burned, by him.
He
It
looks
was
like one
it
of
was
those
so
dudes
fun.
that would be funnier in conversation than the script he gets.
Yeah,
Like, he totally looks like one of those dudes.
yeah.
He's
He's mad funny. And the other thing is, like, he comes in, I see him, I was at the show, and he comes in, he rolls in with this like carry-on bag, like a rolly bag that you go into like the airport
or some
with.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
okay.
dude pulls out all these cameras and equipment and tripods, and he's got lights in there and fucking some big ass like recording thing, and I'm just like, wow, this guy is on another level. Like, I'm
Okay.
recording my stuff on an iPhone, which comes out pretty good, but like, he is, he's on another level for sure. And then he pulls out these as I see him after I'm talking to him and stuff, he has like these note cards. He's got like hundreds of index cards, like flashcards with bits, and he's just whittling them
Running
down,
through
just getting, just working on a lot of stuff. And I'm like, wow, okay, I write a lot. I write a good amount. I keep my notebook on me all the times. But
I never thought
he's
the
like,
index card way. I never thought about that.
he's just like, he's got his like flashcards. So he's literally getting faster with his wit. It's like training your wit. And the dude is,
Instead of looking on a pad, rummaging through pages.
yeah,
fuck
no,
card,
he's,
boom.
yeah, and he,
That's a pretty good idea. I gotta do that.
I should do that too, but it just made me realize that there's a lot further I need to go on this journey to get to a level where I feel like I'm pretty good, but there's a lot more I need to learn.
Yeah,
and
trying to get to
that's
that high bar.
yeah, and that's how you actually get there, by seeing where those top level comedians are at
You have
and
to
trying
take
to
notice. Absolutely.
and trying to get there, just like any kind of sport, just like
Yep.
anything, you got to get up to where the level of the top guys
Yep.
is.
Knowledge and knowledge application are key to honing any
Yeah.
skills at all. Yeah, knowledge and knowledge application. Because knowledge doesn't mean shit if you're not applying it properly. Doesn't mean a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean a thing, man. Man, how long have you been grinding on comedy? Like open mic, serious grinding. You've been aspiring since you were a child, but how long have you been grinding on
grinding
open mic?
since like 2017, 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, maybe a little over 2 years. Yeah,
Okay.
2 years. Yeah.
Nice.
I feel like I'm a little bit ahead of the curve because of me kind of practicing without knowing I was practicing. and kind of being exposed to it a lot more and thinking in that sort of way. But definitely once I started doing shows, like I did Caroline's Broadway Comedy Club and New York Comedy Club, Stand Up New York, doing some better shows. I did like a benefit show. Did like Orchard Street Hotel not that long ago with a lot of other comics. Anyway, I've done like maybe like 25, 30 venues. Doing that more and more and more, it kind of expands your mind, or expand your mind, you know, like the whole, the cliche. Yeah. And it kind of makes you realize how far you need to go, and seeing the other comics and sort of comparing yourself to them in a sort of constructive way.
Yeah, amongst your peers.
You're like, wow, okay. And you gain certain things from them, you know, insights, ways of thinking. And I think it just, you got to be in it to win it. You know, you gotta go out and do it. And I would say for every show I do, I probably do maybe 10 mics. You know what I mean? Like, I do a lot more mics than I do shows. But I also love the open mic atmosphere. You don't have to, you know, you can try crazy shit.
It's like sparring.
You can network.
Fight.
I feel like you can network better with comedians at open mics.
Oh, open mics are definitely for networking. Absolutely.
You know, everyone's on at a show. Everybody's sort of in their zone.
Yeah, shows,
and then you
everyone's...
I mean, I've networked shows too, obviously, but it's open mics. I just like the vibe right now.
I feel like show networking is a lot different because it's more professional. You're looking for like job openings. You're looking for spots opening. Like you're trying to expand on a more professional basis. When you're networking in an open mic setting, it's more just for networking, friends, and more open mics and such. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a lot more genuine networking at open mics than it is networking at a actual show.
And especially when you talk to like a comic that's maybe not, it's like, you know, not as far along the path as you, or a comic that's further along the path. It's good to sort of gain their insights and grow, help them grow. And I have a mic that I host, like we talked about the beauty bar, and one comic, she was asking me for feedback, and you know, I gave her the best feedback I could. I gave her a 1 or 2 page, you know, feedback and
written,
yeah.
A written synopsis.
Like big time analyzing her set.
That's what she asked for.
Yeah.
She wanted an actual analysis.
And
synopsis.
She asked me for feedback, and I gave her, you know, the feedback of the century, which is what I told her. But you know, and my point is, I feel like I get better too by really digging into a comic set and really analyzing it. I also reinforce what I know and reinforce sort of the rules that I know are because you know, comedy has been perfected by the masters, you know, like don't try to be I mean, yeah, you gotta have your own style, but there's certain rules to the shit, you know, like there's certain precedents, you know what I mean?
The rules there are rules, but they're not written. They're not written anywhere. It's like you got to figure them out, or you have to get bestowed the knowledge from someone that's already learned the rules. Like, you know, like it's.
Well, one of the rules is that comedy is a craft. Don't try to, you know, think that you know more than some of the masters that have come before you. Another rule is be funny. You know, another rule is don't alienate the crowd. You could be making fun of the crowd, like Judah is a good example, and they'll still love you. But then you can be making fun of the crowd and come off like an asshole, and then you lose them and they don't like you.
You know, you can't go up there like you're the hottest shit and talk shit about the crowd. You have to go up there, make fun of yourself a little bit, and let that segue into some crowd, you know, some crowd work.
Yeah, and it's got to be smart. It's not gonna. You can't just belittle people and make fun of them. Nobody wants that. They're there to have a good time.
And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier, where people just going up talking toxically on a microphone because they think that's what comedians do. You know?
Yeah. Like, or they have their own issues and they're just trying to get out the internal problems that they have.
I've seen them both, man. I've seen people come to mics literally and just talk about just how terrible their life is, and nothing's funny. and I literally, as the host, have to go and follow them and be like, "Hey, like, this is not therapy, man. We're not doctors here, dog. Like, if you need some help, please do what you have to do to help yourself or find guidance that you need. But you're not gonna find that shit here, dog. Like, ain't no one's doctor here. No one's therapy here. Like, if you need help, you need help. But this is a good place to talk some shit. You know, like,
right, and it's
fucking crazy.
a fine line too sometimes, because there could be people with actual bits about therapists or like their problems or whatever, and it's funny, but that is a crafted. Most of the time, let's say there can be spontaneous stream of consciousness, funny rants, obviously, but most of the time those things are crafted over time, and you know it's a fine line between some crazy person screaming into a mic and some very funny person screaming into a mic.
Yeah, man. What, like, I had a joke last week that bombed, man. Like, my roommate that was taking a shit. My roommate was taking a shit. He won't get out the bathroom. I gotta brush my teeth, and he asked me, "Hey, you want me to paste you up?" I said, "What the fuck did you say to me?" He said, "Yo, bro, you want me to paste your toothbrush up?" And I'm like, "Ew, bitch." No, dog, don't fucking touch my toothbrush, especially while you're taking a shit.
I think that's funny. I think it just the way I was there, I think.
Oh, dude, exactly.
And
it was delivery and shit.
It was like a little too wordy the way, like, the premise is funny, and I think paste you up is funny, but you got to be like, I think you should be like, no, you should be like, what is that? What does that mean?
I was.
And
so
he's like, put a little toothpaste on that,
bro,
on that brush of yours, and you'd be
so
like,
fucking disgusted. Bro.
And then you need like a punchline, like,
this isn't even a joke. This
like,
is real
I don't
life.
want you to
this
paste
really
anything
happened.
up. I don't know.
This really happened. Like, this, it was disgusting.
No, yeah, I think it's funny. And see, as you never really give time to your jokes. You never really.
No, I don't.
You don't
So
refine it. You just.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a
It's a
refined
one-off
joke.
every
It was
time
just
for
a
you.
one-off fucking funny situation that I was trying to turn into a joke.
I thought it was funny anyway.
Yeah, no, it happens,
Whatever.
man. It happens. But yeah, paste you up. It was gross. It really happened. It was gross. Now, the NYC comedy community. It's a pretty big community. It grows more every day. How do you feel about the NYC comedy community?
I feel that it's. I'm not going to say it's too big because, yeah, I think there is space, but there's a lot of comics out there, and there's a lot of people that are in the NYC comedy community that are not from New York that are coming in, and it just crowds the field, and you gotta be even that much better to get recognized and make a name for yourself. I think that comedy in general is growing, especially with YouTube and
Netflix.
Everybody
Netflix
knows
puts out a special every fucking
Instagram.
week.
Yeah, it's definitely growing, but the amount of comics is probably growing at a higher rate than how much space there is for actually making a living out of it. And so I don't want to say I've given up on making a living, but I get paid maybe $40-$50 in a show, and that's not really I'm not gonna get by on that. That's why I have other sources of income. But
Yeah.
For those comics that don't, it's tough. It's really, really tough out there. Yeah, and then you got the open micers they never really have any ambition, and they're taking up space too. Everyone has their own reasons for doing it, and you can't say my reason's more important than yours. I mean, it's fair game. It's not a regulated industry. There's no union.
No, there's no regulation. It's cutthroat.
You got to deal with all the amount of people that are doing it, and I think that in general, comics are different. There's a lot of comics who are really weird. I've had comics where they get pissed off at me because I did better than them. I got more laughs than them, and they become a hater, and they're like, they don't want to talk to me because they're pissed off that I was funnier than them that particular day. And I think that's not
That's the wrong attitude.
That's definitely the wrong
That's
attitude.
the wrong attitude.
I never seen any of those types of guys do well or go anywhere, because you gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta know where you're at and where you want to be, and I think that's the only way to really get good. And I think it's really important also to make your friends in comedy, know the people who will maybe come support your show or support your mic, or is a good guy, grab a beer with after, talk comedy, maybe do some writing, whatever. And you gotta build your network. You need your comedy buddies to lean on, and they need to know that they can lean on you too when the time calls for it. And I think that there's probably a lack of that. There's too many lone wolves out there, and it's crazy. And and the other thing is that there are comics out there who are really, really funny, and they don't get the recognition that other really popular, so-called popular comics get, that are kind of hacky. And there's comics out there with 30,000 followers on Instagram. They've been doing the same fucking jokes for 2 years or longer, and they just do the same shit. They're not that creative, really. They're not creative. They just grind away on the marketing and the bookings, and honestly, I need that skill. I need that skill, but it's kind of annoying when you see like a hacky comedian that's doing so well, and it's a little bit annoying, but it also makes you got to be honest with yourself and realize that you're probably lacking in the marketing sector, or you're not selling yourself right, or you don't have a tape ready, or you don't have your headshots ready, or you don't have that. You might have lots of material, but do you have that really refined hot 10?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you have that refined set that you need to get past at a club?
And you bring up many, many good points, and I think a lot of what you're saying revolves around attitude of the craft, because this is entertainment, of course this is entertainment, but it is also, like you said, some people's livelihoods, and you have to have a good attitude no matter what. If you're going to get better, you have to have a good attitude. If you're going to take your lumps, you have to have a good attitude. No matter what, your attitude has to be helping you. That's really what it's for. It's so you can persevere through the hardest times possible when that's all you got is your attitude, Because there's going to be times where motherfuckers are going to hate on you. There's going to be times when you see hacks making it, doing bigger, better things that you thought you could be doing. And you do have to take it with a grain of salt and see, why is that happening? Why is this, aka hacky person, getting all these opportunities? It's because they're internet troll. They're fucking internet fucking rat. They're literally they're spitting garbage out. They're promotional fucking just pieces of shit. They'll promote on anything. They'll promote on a fucking sandwich. They'll promote anything, and that's also a skill that we all need. Everybody has their strong points, right? Everybody's got their strong points. And you have to work with your strong points as you try and understand why your weak points are weak. But no matter what, you always have to capitalize on your strong points. So you see these hack motherfuckers capitalizing on their marketing is because they can't write a joke that good, because their joke writing's trash. But they can go on Instagram and put up a fucking million stupid videos all day long because, hey, I could do that. It's a lot easier than writing a fucking funny joke. And people, that see you, or you go to a show and people see you and you're funnier than them and they feel some type of way about it. They obviously weren't meant to be in this business, because I'm in this business because I love this shit. I love comedy. I am a comedy thing. I am an entity of comedy. Good, bad, too far, not far enough. I don't give a fuck. Like that's what I'm about. I love it. If I don't make any money, whatever. I'm still doing something I love.
You're happy.
Of course, I want to make money on doing something I love. That's everyone's real dream is to make money doing what they love. But no one gets their dream quick, bro. No one's gonna wake up and get their fucking dream, man.
No.
You gotta grind, and you're gonna have to do things you don't want to fucking do. You're gonna have to deal with people you don't want to fucking deal with. You're gonna have to listen to jokes you don't want to fucking listen to, you know. But this is all for the better, greater good of what you're trying to achieve.
I think that's why you got to set goals, and that's what I've been trying to do. I had, I guess my short-term goals were play at these larger clubs in New York, playing like larger sort of venues and shows with other great comics, and hold my own. And I've done that. And then I wanted another goal. I had another goal, which was to get my own mic at the beauty bar, and I got that. We had a pilot, and I called in my all-star team, and we had an awesome mic, and it's like one of the only musical mics in New York where it's we have like a DJ. We do a lot of funny stuff with music. We like have
that is
now,
the big thing about your mic. It's very music incorporated.
Yeah, there's
very
like
musical.
There's like each like some of the regular comics that come, they got like their own theme song. Mm-hmm. Some of them are kind of funny. Or
intro, outro music.
Yeah, if they mention some kind of topic, whatever in
never
in
been
their
done
set,
an open mic format before. Intro, outro music. Just so you know.
If they say some kind of like funny thing in their set, we might play that song right after they're done, or like or find something that is relevant to it, and it's gotten really good. I've gotten really good feedback. People have told me that that's the best mic they've ever been to, and people like are trying to sign up like the second they get off stage for the next mic. And lately I've been lately I've been having to turn people away, comics away, or put them on standby, or tell them, look, standby list is full, like you're not even gonna get a spot. And last mic, it really was evident to me that this thing is getting a following, because we were like standing room only. There was lots of people watching, wanted to see what we're gonna do. And most mics honestly are like full of comics, and ours was too, but a mixture of a lot of regular people or comedy fans that realized that
which
this is a
certain don't go to open mics. So it's just so you know, a lot of spectators don't go to open mics. Only fucking hardcore spectators go to open mics. I mean, scouts and such.
I can't take all the credit because Beauty Bar is a popular bar, and it has it has a good good traffic,
good rapport.
But
absolutely.
they hear something going on back there, some music and some loud people, and they pop their head in. They maybe sit down or stand there, and it's going well. It's going well.
That's awesome.
So my goal is to make the best open mic in New York City. Well, maybe behind yours, Manny.
It's all good, bro. It's all good, man.
Top 3 mics.
There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room in the open mic scene for us both to have the best fucking mic in the city. You got yours on Thursday. I'm rocking mine on Wednesday. There's plenty of fucking room, bro.
Best Thursday mic in the city. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Now, this question. How difficult is it to chase your dreams and work a regular job? A lot of people don't even have a clue about this, because a lot of people don't have the fucking gonads to chase their dreams at all, if ever. They just talk about, I wish I would have did this, I wish I would have. Yeah, motherfucker, we're actually doing that shit. And tell these people how difficult this shit is.
I think sometimes it can be difficult. The main thing to keep in mind is that if you really want to do something, you got to find time for it. You got to find 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, whatever amount of time, and find the time for what you want to do. In my case, it's comedy. I try to work as hard as I can, and when I get home, try to write. When I'm on the train, I try to write. I try to network, some video editing, whatever it is. You got to find time for your passion. Manny just got up and walked away. So I guess I'll conduct this interview by myself here. So Alex, what do you think about Manny's hosting skills? Well, they're not bad. I mean, they could improve a little bit. I think he needs to write jokes more. I know he hates writing jokes, but he's gotta force himself to get his pen out and write a couple of bits on a piece of paper and try him out on stage. No, I'm actually totally bullshitting. You should edit this out.
All good, buddy. All good.
I was talking about your hosting skills.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. No, but yeah, I think it's anyway. Well, I said it like 20 times. If you want to do something, you have a goal. You got to find time for it. You can't just say, "Oh, I don't have time for this. I'm tired." You got to find your 10 minutes a day, whatever. And what I find is,
no excuses.
I'll do my 10 minutes a day of writing, and I'll say, okay, I'm going to do my 10 minutes, and that turns into 20 minutes. That turns into 30 minutes. That turns into an hour. The main thing is get it started. Get that pen touching the piece of paper and write. A lot of times I'm like, do I really need to write that down? And I do. And I write it down, and it leads to something else. It leads to something else. It's like opening the floodgates. You just gotta do it. Just do it. Still. And it's hard because I have really 2 jobs, let's say, that I'm dedicating myself to, and I still find time. If you're on the train, you gotta want it, man. If you're on the train, that's a perfect opportunity. If you're find yourself nothing to do, just don't zone out, don't watch Netflix, follow your dreams. Follow your dreams.
You're going to be talking to yourself a lot. I'll just believe me on that. If you're going to be doing this kind of shit, you're going to be talking to yourself a lot. You're going to be answering yourself even more. You're going to be confused about these conversations that you're having with yourself.
Yeah.
And it's okay. As long as there's something funny coming out of that shit.
I think another thing is you got to switch it up, because I found myself lately wanting to do other stuff. Like now I've dedicated myself to do one comedy skit a week.
You're expanding your horizon.
I did a funny Game of Thrones Jon Snow bit on Instagram this week. Next week I already have my bit sorted out. But see, I don't want to just put it out now. I want to just wait so that people start to know he's going to put out one thing a week. And so they'll be waiting for my next weekly thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't want to burn yourself out. You want to just have a good pace. I think my pace is one a week, and that's what I want to do.
It's still pretty demanding with everything that you're doing.
Yeah,
still pretty demanding.
I did a web series pilot with another comic called Louis Darraville. It's called Home Sessions, and
I saw a little sneak peek.
I haven't promoted it at all, but I think it's
in the archives.
It could be better. It could be better, but it's funny. You can YouTube Home Sessions comedy, and little things. You just gotta keep your ears out, keep your eyes peeled and your ears open, whatever the phrase is.
That works. Totally
I guess your ears. It's hard to close your ears.
Yeah, eyes open, ears to the ground. I think.
Oh yeah, whatever, and you get opportunities and you talk to people.
And that's another thing. That's another important
collabos.
thing. Opportunities.
Podcasts. Done plenty of podcasts. This interview right here.
Dude, opportunities. Now, it's not only that you have to capitalize on these opportunities, but you also have to understand what the fucking opportunity is to capitalize on it. A lot of people just la 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 just walking by opportunities, not even knowing it's a fucking opportunity. And then they're like, hey, when am I going to get my shot? Motherfucker, you just passed it.
Yeah, or it could happen so quick.
Exactly.
And then you might say, oh, let me think about that.
And by the time you're thinking about that, they already got somebody else lined up.
I've hosted shows where, the regular host says, oh, man, I'm not going to be able to make it, blah, blah. And I said, I'll host for you. Or, oh, you need some help on some show? I'll help you out. I'll do a set. You don't need to pay me.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, you're pretty good. Maybe next time we'll pay you.
Never see that old
You know,
host
or
again. That shit
whatever.
happens, bro. That shit happens.
Just gotta be persistent.
If someone's not willing,
Don't give up.
If someone's not willing to do something or they can't do it, somebody is usually available to do
Right.
that.
And be
you
that
know?
guy.
And be that guy. I've taken on a motto in my life where, you know, I wanted to be a person of value. You know, I wanted to be a person that you can call for whatever you need. And, you know, you really have to be good at what you do. You got to be an honest person. You have to be a person people can trust, first of all, to be any kind of value at all. Because if you're not a trustworthy person, you're not worth a fucking thing.
And you know what? That's a good point. A lot of comics are pretty freaking flaky. Like
lots and lots.
That's why my mic, you know, I have a standby list because people will say I will 100% be there, and then they don't show up. You know what I mean? And like my mic is sort of like a
no email, no nothing.
Yeah,
super
they
easy
flake.
to send an email.
They flake,
Super
you know.
easy.
And I think that, yeah, like if I'm trying to have the best mic in New York, I need like solid people to perform on the mic. So, you know, if you say you're gonna come and you're on the main list and you don't show up, you're gonna go to the bottom of the list next time, or you might not get up. I might not put you on the list next time if you really piss me off. You know what I mean? Like, because comedy is not comedy. The whole point of comedy is to laugh and stuff, but it's actually kind of it can be quite serious. You know what I mean? It's the business of
especially
it,
on the
the whole
production
everything
side.
else, the
See, you're-
production.
you're-
I'm talking
so
about
you're
production.
on the production
Yeah.
side now, and I can relate to you a lot there, and you know, production is tough, man, and you have to be prepared for any and everything, and you know, it sucks when you do, you know, have to take down names of people that are fucking worthless or just don't show up or flake every time. Like, I got comics that sign up every week, never showed up in 3 years. That they sign up every fucking week. It makes no sense to me, but maybe that's their own inner turmoil or their inner problems that they're dealing with. But, you know, honestly, I don't give a fuck. You know, like, it's not my problem. It's your problem. And if you can't make it, you can send an email just like you said you were going to make it. It's real easy.
And especially, like, if you're on that lineup and you don't show up, you're taking that spot away from someone else, potentially. I mean, now I have a pretty good following where there's someone right there to take their spot. So it's not a big deal. But you don't forget that person flaked on you.
Never. No, you never forget people
You don't
that
forget
fuck
it.
you. You never forget people that fuck you.
And, you know, because
you never forget people that helped you.
there could be people who at the last minute say, oh, I can't make it. And then you say, all right, fine. You can't make it? Cool. And now at least you're giving me an opportunity to fill your spot. But if you just ghost me, nah. Not having that. Not having that.
You know, and it's tough, you know, in the production world to not take it personally, but it is understandable in the New York City world to not take it personally. But, you know, the producer that, you know, you left hanging, he's not going to forget, especially when his show starts popping and now you want to get that time and you're actually going to show up now because shit's popping.
It's happening to me already.
You know, it's a love-hate, man. It's a thin line, man. And we have to walk it, and we have to, you know, as producers, we're like the fucking shepherds, you know? We want to lead you to time. We want to lead you to the stage. We want to fucking help you.
Exactly.
But if you're a fucking flake piece of shit, no one's going to want to help you, and we're all going to talk about, hey, that motherfucker's a flake, so if you're going to make money on that show, be prepared to fucking fill that spot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I don't.
People talk.
Yeah. That's why I don't mess with like the whole bucket lineup thing, because you get like
the bucket
you get the
lineup.
fake,
I always
you get
thought that
the
was corny.
kind of like, you know, flaky people who love the bucket because they probably signed up late or they just made it onto the list.
Bucket's corny, bro.
And then
I've always
the
thought
bucket
it's
can maybe give them a good spot. But then I found that the comics who are really dedicated, they'll sign up early. They will find out what's the best way to get on the list, what's the best way to get a good spot, and they'll do it. And they kind of like get a reward for being persistent and dedicated. I think that
Absolutely.
that's why, even though it's an open mic and anyone is free to join and get on my mic, there's no problem with that. I want it to have some level of professionalism, some level of a lineup that's going to flow. I don't want 6 women in a row going. I don't want 6 guys in a row going. I don't want, I want to mix it up. I want to have a good flow to the show. I
Absolutely.
mean, even though it's an open mic, my mic has kind of become an open schmic because of the crowd that's watching it. So
Well,
I kind of
because
want to have
music,
a good.
The music aspect definitely makes
That-
it more
yeah, that
theatrics.
helps.
It definitely
Yeah.
makes it more theatrical, and
fun too.
And it kind of deads the monotony of,
Coming to stage next
yeah,
is.
it definitely.
And I
cuts
hate
that
those
monotony
hosts,
out.
man. I'm not going to name names, but I hate the hosts that just say, "Okay, coming up next is Marcos Rios." Okay, coming up next is Alex Hjalmarsson. Like, that's not being a host. The host, you warm up the crowd, you fill up that dead space with
Something.
non-monotonous crap,
Yeah.
and you give a shit.
Yeah.
You give a shit about your mic.
I try
And
to.
those hosts, I don't see them surviving most of the time. They do, their shit doesn't survive because people come to a mic to try out their material, to network, and to have a good time. And they want to have fun. And so your job as a host is to make it as fun as possible. Give people the best time that you can within
absolutely.
your means. And so little by little, I mean, I've been putting in a lot of work, and I've been recording all the sets and sending people sets and a little bit of feedback, whatever. And little by little, people are really realizing that I'm, as a host at least, I'm like the real deal, and I give a damn about making people better. That's why I called it the comedy quest, because I want it. We're all on a quest to get better
Absolutely.
at comedy, and we're all in it together. So
That's a beautiful thing.
that's
man.
kind of why that's my
That's a beautiful
my
thing.
concept
And
there.
I totally understand you, and I'm on the same journey as well. And being a host is kind of unsung hero kind of thing, because if you're a host, you're probably producing it too. It would make more sense to host and produce than to just produce it and get a host that could or could not be any good. It makes a lot more sense. I learned that the hard way after doing my first 2 shows. And the unsung hero shit about being a host is that you have to listen to all of these fucking schlubs, good or bad. Good or bad, you gotta listen to all these schlubs, all this material, good or bad, garbage or fucking gold. You gotta listen to it. You gotta sift through it. And
Yeah.
you have to make jokes about the jokes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm good at that. As
Yeah.
long as the better the jokes are, the better my
Yeah, you are
material's
good
gonna
at that,
be.
actually.
Like,
That's why I don't tell people I don't say anymore that I'm the leader of the asshole comics, because every time you really
tell
harp
them.
on that
Yeah.
me being an asshole thing.
Nobody harps
It's quite
on it.
good though. Last
No
time,
one
though.
harps on it more than
It was
you. I
quite
just
good last time.
reiterate. I just
It was-
reiterate what you said.
It was quite good your last riff.
But
on that.
I also do that to help people with their jokes. Like, I don't just do that to make fun of people. The more I fuck with you, like, the more I liked your set. The more
good to know.
The more I fuck with your jokes, the more I liked your jokes. Like, if I spit out your joke better than you did, you take that home and write it the fuck down, because that's your joke. I just said it better. I'm not gonna steal it. I don't fucking steal jokes. I don't write jokes. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to take what I helped you with in that little instant and fucking
Yeah.
hone
Maybe.
it.
Yeah. Maybe you
You know?
give another insight on the joke. And
Exactly, because
Different perspective,
everyone's
for
got
sure.
perspective, man. Everyone's got perspective, and I just want to thank you so much, Alex, for coming on NYC Live Podcast and doing this. And you're an inspiration. And I want to tell you
Anytime.
that the one thing that that just made me more happy than anything doing productions in the city is watching like comedians that have come to my show, have gotten better, doing bigger productions, or even making their own productions, because I really feel like I've helped these people get the confidence that they could do it as well.
Hell yeah, man.
I have multiple comedians that did their first comedy bits at my comedy college, and now they're in the city producing their own shows, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
That's awesome.
I don't hate on them. I don't wish bad things on them. I go to the shows sometimes when I'm in the city and available. I do visit these shows, but I just couldn't be happier with the inspiration that I brought people to the city, because that's really all I wanted to do.
The scene needs more people like you, Marcos.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much, man. I want to
Definitely.
thank you for everything. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a fellow comic. And just thank you for everything, man.
Anytime, man. Anytime, dude.
And we'll see you next time on NYC Life Podcast, motherfuckers. Suck a dick. Fuckers, 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 suck a dick.